Happy New Year's Eve. Yes, because tomorrow's New Year's Day. Happy New Year's Eve. Um, I'm really glad that I did that back to back last week or 2 weeks ago because I wanted to be consistent with doing this. And I was really sick last week with a flu. Um, my church had this like big celebration. I was one of the greeters, and I think I got sick from greeting so many people. And then my son got sick after me. So it's been kind of a challenging time in the household. But everybody's on the mend now. Everybody's starting to come back, including me. And so now I am here. I snuck out. I was hanging out with my son all day. And I was like, you know what? I really want to do something by the end of the year. So this is me doing that, just to make sure that I stay consistent with this. And yeah, hello. Thanks for watching this again. I've been thinking a lot about well, when I was sick, there was a lot of I cannot fall asleep because I'm miserable moments. I was like, I would just like stare at the wall and think, and I would think about this particular project and kind of like what I want it to be. And initially, and it's still true, what I've shared in previous videos is that I really want this to be a space where I get the chance to share some of the things that I've learned over the last decade plus, right? I grew up in a low income household, didn't really have like a guide, so to speak, for like what it takes to be successful in corporate America. And I know I've felt it when I started working that I didn't really know how things worked. And it took an amazing human being and mentor of mine to kind of help me make sense of the world. And she really helped me believe in myself. And I was so grateful to her for how she helped like shape me my first 10 years in the work industry, that set off my trajectory for my career after, even to this day, that I want to do the same and I want to pay it forward. And this is like my way of doing that. So that's the goal for this channel, primarily, always. And that hopefully if you're watching this and you want to interact or share your stories, like that this is a space where we all can grow. And I always want to ground these videos with that. But then I thought about like, okay, like what are some other goals that you have? And frankly, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have any other goals outside of enjoying this whole experience. I have a friend, a fantastic friend, who's a pro at this, and she's actually been the one that's been encouraging me and being like, "Don't be so scared. Just do it. Like, why not do it?" Because I've been thinking about this for a while. I've had this channel for a while, right? And I finally took the leap and a few weeks ago and said, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna end the year with this and go into next year doing this. Um, and she said like, hey, great job. I'm really proud of you, which I was so touched by. And she just gave me the advice of like, don't worry about the numbers, just keep doing you and be consistent. And I thought about that and I said, I never worried about the numbers. I don't think I ever want to worry about the numbers. Not with this, right? I worry about the numbers in every other aspect of my life. My day-to-day job, like my main gig, that's my job, is to think about the numbers, worry about the numbers, look at the numbers, make sense of the numbers, share out the numbers. Um, that's a part of what I have to do there. And then obviously I have a passion project that initially was like, I just really want to give this my heart to, and I still do. Um, and I worry about the numbers there too. And like we're starting to figure out our metrics and things. So I worry about numbers there. I, of course, worry about numbers in my life. I have many spreadsheets to manage my life and our finances. This is the one place that I don't want to worry about the numbers. And I even said to her, to my friend, that my hope is that by the end of this, I'll have like a library of all of the things that have just been in my head for a very long time. And I just want to like birth it all into this space for the people that need it. So for the kids like me that, are like joining the workforce for the first time and, are walking into it and like there's like a shared language that everybody already has. And I don't know that shared language because maybe no one in my family's, from corporate, or I'm the first person to graduate from my family, or I am an immigrant coming into here. Like that's who this space is really for. Or I'm a first time manager, right? I remember when I first became a manager and how intimidating that was. And, my desire to want to be a really good leader. And like, this space is for you, right? Like, if we're going into a new environment, like, this space is for you. This space is for us. That's what this space is for. But I have zero desire to do any kind of worrying about numbers or performance or anything like that. Of course, I want feedback. I'm always open to feedback. I think that's how you grow. Um, but this is truly a project of the heart for me, because I'm blessed enough that I have other projects that are of the heart and others. And I love all those other things too. I love my job. I love my boss. I love my passion project. I love my business partners. I love my life. Like, I'm very, very, very blessed at this point in my life. I'm definitely on the mountain right now of my life. Um, and this is like the space where I can take all of that love and joy and do something for the joy of it, for the love of it. Even before it was writing. So I'll be honest, before I did this project, I was trying to finish this book. I've had this fantasy book in my head for a very long time. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to write it, and I'm just going to I'm going to go for it. And then it started feeling like work, as writing is supposed to be. And this is not the season for that. This is not the season to add one more thing that feels like work to me right now. So I paused on that writing project, which is sad because I actually had like three, but I'd only written like three or four chapters, and I'd had people on this platform be like, "Hey, I'm reading it. Keep writing," because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna write this, and it's a lot of work. And they're like, "Keep writing. I'm reading." So that was like a nice little boost, morale boost. But that only led me to writing one more chapter, and I was like, forget it. So anyway, this all to say, because I can't add more things. This is like a fun passion project. So that's what the space is for. That's also why I'm like bucking the trend or whatever. Like, I know I could get more engagement. I've done my research. If I do more reels, or I like turn this into bite-sized content, not doing any of that. I'm not going to contribute to people's attention spans getting even shorter. All the videos that I post on this thing or on my Instagram are always going to be, because I'm also on my Instagram. I'm on Instagram, always going to be 10 minutes or less. And if you don't have the time to listen to this, no stress, don't listen to it. If this is not for you, you're like, I'm not trying to listen to someone ramble for like 7+ minutes and then go into like the actual thing that they're supposed to talk about for like 5 minutes, then don't listen to it. Life is short. Go enjoy it. But if you're like, I like this topic and I like listening to someone ramble for X amount of minutes, then welcome. And I hope you stick around, and I hope we get the chance to talk in the comments, because this is like this is a video. This is one way, obviously. But yes. Okay. So yeah, so this is all to say, yeah, this is like a fun thing, only for fun, which probably means that you'll be endlessly frustrated with some of the things that I do because I don't care. But this is like a way for me to share wisdom, knowledge primarily, and then secondarily just for me to outlet all the things in my head and something that I just enjoy and have fun doing. So today's topic is about New Year's Eve and what I like to do at the start of the year. And the advice that I want to give to you that I recommend you also do if you're somebody that's like trying to figure out, if you're somebody that like is trying to figure out, how do I do goal setting? How do I do those kinds of things? So, when I was younger, I was a very planned individual, still am to this day. I actually had a 7-year plan when I was like 24, I think, or 25. I don't know. But it was like, this is what I want to be. By the time I'm 33, 33 was the year, which is sad because I'm much older than that now. Not much older, but I'm older than that now. And the good news is I hit most of the goals on that list, so I'm really happy about it. I found it the other day. I don't think I have it here with me, but it was kind of sweet. And so yeah, so I like to plan. And I don't always hit all the things in my plan. One of the things that I learned from my therapist, shout out to therapy, is I need to be flexible. So I don't always hit everything on my plan, and I do that, on purpose, but it's good to have a plan because then you have a better probability of hitting those goals. So this topic is about how do you do that? Like how do you do goal setting? How do you plan at the start of the year? And I have 3 pieces of advice for you. The first is try to crystallize the vision. Second is begin with the end in mind. And then third, apply the SMART goal framework to whatever it is that you decide to do once you get to like the granular goals, right? So the first two kind of coincide. Um, I would start out by asking yourself, where do you see yourself where do you want to see yourself at the end of 2026? So it's December 31st, 2026. Where do you see yourself? What is your life like? What is your professional career like? Who are you surrounded by? What are you doing? Like, what is it? Who and what is in your life? What are the things that are bringing you joy? And you'll notice I'm being very specific with the questions because it ties in with the first thing that I said. So I'm asking you, to begin with the end in mind, begin with the end of 2026 in mind, and then ask yourself these specific questions to help crystallize the vision. The more you can make that vision real, the higher the likelihood that you're going to achieve it because it's very clear to you and it's like a good way to keep yourself motivated. So that's the first thing is begin with the end in mind. December 2026, December 31st. Who are you? Right? Like what is your life like? And then crystallize that vision. Ask yourself as many specific questions as you can and just write it down. Just write it down. Or if you're not a writer, you're more visual, uh, picture it in your head. Close your eyes and picture it in your head. If you're more auditory, speak it out loud. Just talk it out loud. Record yourself. Record yourself and just listen to you talk about it, right? Who are you? Who are you in December 2026? What have you done? What do you want to be able to do? What do you like that you're doing? What are some of the things that you stopped doing? What are some of the things that you do for fun or that gives you joy? Who are you surrounded by, right? There's like this adage that you are the definition of the 5 people that you surround yourself most. Who are those people? How have you been intentional with finding the people that you need in your life? And what are, and how are they contributing to kind of who you are and how you see yourself? Those are all the things that, you start ask yourself and really be very intentional. And then think about the different facets of your life. So in your professional life, what have you achieved? In your personal life, what have you achieved or not achieved, right? Like when you think about who you want to be personality wise, how how do you want to be perceived? How do you want to be for yourself, right? Do you want to be more social? Do you want to be more friendly? Do you want to be able to better draw boundaries for yourself? Do you want to be the kind of person that inspires others or is a comfort to others? Do you want to engage in more volunteer work? Like, do you want to be closer in your relationship with Christ? Like, think about all those different facets of your life and then be intentional with writing them down so it can be as clear as crystal to you of who you want to be in December 31st, 2026. And really journal that out. And then once you've done that, then you begin with the end in mind. So now you know who you are in December 31st. Now we chunk it out, right? So in order for you to get there in December, what needs to have happened by October, by July, by April, and then by the end of this month? And when we're thinking about October, don't be that specific. You don't have to be. I would just put like some big picture, maybe one line under each major category that you've developed, right? So, for example, let's say a goal of yours is you want to have read, for me, I used to read like 100 books in, I don't know, a month. So my goal for next year is 24 books. That's how sad it is, which means I'm trying to aim for 2 books a month. So by October, I should have already read at least, like by the end of September, early October, I should have already read like 18 books, right? 20 books, 18 to 20 books. It's like those are some of the like, and then I work backwards by July, by April. So start just writing like sub goals, big picture, especially around like the major goals that you have. And I would not have more than five. So if reading is important to you next year, have a goal for that. If the people that you surround yourself with is important to you, have a goal for that. So just write some sub goals. Doesn't have to be super defined. And then as you get to end of January, that's when you want to be very, very defined. So like by the end of January, I might say, okay, like by the end of January 2026, I will have read the following 3 books. And then I might like go out and look for 3 books that I want to read by the end. And then I reassess at the end to think about February and March. And like I start planning, right? And then as you achieve those milestones, you start planning again, like very, very like granular planning to get you to whatever the next goal is, and the next goal, and the next goal. Until before you know it, it's December 31st and you've achieved all your goals, or most of your goals, hopefully. Woohoo! So those are the 2. And then the third piece of advice that I have for planning is be if you can, apply the SMART goal framework, especially to your end of January plan. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Specific means that it's very clear what you're trying to say. There's no ambiguity in the goal. Measurable is you can easily tell if you did it or not, right? Well, you're successful. Achievable is it's within your means to achieve it. So don't do anything that's out of your control, right? Like I can't control the government, for example. So I'm not going to set any goals against that. But I can control how I show up in activism, right? So like that's maybe a goal that I would set. R is relevant, so relevant to your December 2026 goal. And then time bound is super important. That to me is the most important thing. Have a deadline for when you're supposed to achieve it. So once you get to your January goals, make sure that you hash them through the SMART goal framework and that the goal is SMART. And then, so you can start for January, plan for January. And then when you get to January, just plan for February, March with your April goal in mind. And yeah, and if you do that, higher probability that you will achieve your goals. So that's my process. I also like doing a vision board. I'm a big fan of the vision board. So when I say like, ask yourself all these questions for December 2026, as you answer those questions, have a visual picture of what it could look like. You can now do like virtual vision boards, which I'm a fan of because personally I don't have any magazines in the house. And also like I like that I can carry it with me everywhere because then I'll just take a picture of it and I'll look at it when I'm feeling a certain kind of feeling about whatever it is that I'm trying to do. Because there are going to be moments where you're not going to feel like it. There are going to be moments when you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. And that's okay. But sometimes, if it's important enough, you need something to help you push through. And that's what's going to help you push through is if you have like a visual of it. So do a virtual vision board. You can literally just pull pictures off of the internet. You can also use AI if you want. I don't really recommend it though, unless it's helpful for you. But that's because I think AI and the environment, super important. So that's the thing. That's my advice. Have a vision board. Begin with the end in mind. Crystallize that vision, and then as you get closer to those deadlines, make it smart. I'm running out of time. I can't believe it. So my random piece of advice, just to close out this video, is make sure that you drink a lot of water when you get sick because I had the flu and I was sick and I drank a lot of water and that helped. So drink lots of water when you're sick. Super important. Okay. Happy New Year. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Okay.